So we've been talking this week, or I've been talking anyways, about the issue of the cloud. That people today who are active online live more and more in a cloud and less in a web. So it's not so much the points of interest here and there, the site as an end destination, but instead it's the cloud of content that they surround themselves with and consume throughout the week. And the question we're asking is, how do I take the content I'm publishing online and get it into the cloud where other people will receive it? And I think the simple answer, we've talked about a couple of things, reaching out to other bloggers and expanding your network so it begins to overlap with other networks. You decrease the distance of separation between you and the intended end user. But even more than that, I think you simply have to have a growing awareness of what's going on, what's developing in technology, not just in blogging, not just how to write better blog posts, not just how to monetize a blog, but what's going on with gadgets. How are people consuming content in the mobile world? More and more people are going to, cell phones like iPhone, Android, various others, in which they're consuming content through apps and mobile browsing. So you have to ask the question, is my content ready for that? Is it appropriate for mobile consumption? I think that there will be a growing usage of RSS. I know that some debate that it's maybe a fading technology because of Twitter and other real-time news sources, but I just don't know about that. I still think that RSS affords a lot of interesting opportunities to syndicate and aggregate content. I think it's here to stay. I think it's here for a long time. And Google Reader in particular offers a lot of social interaction along with just the consumption and the reading of that content. So do you offer a good RSS feed? Do you give the whole content? Because if you just give snippets and teasers, what you're really telling people is, I'm not worried about getting my content into your cloud. I want you to come to my site, the end destination. You're inviting them to the dead-end street. So I advise you to get your content out there. In the long run, it's more important to get your name and your brand and your message and your identity out there in front of people. It's far more important to do that than it is to get someone to click on your site or do what you hope they'll do in the moment. So think long term. Know what's going on with gadgetry. Know what's going on in terms of how people read their content. A lot of people still like email. Don't discount email. And then social networks, obviously. For me, the big three are LinkedIn, Facebook, and Twitter. And I kind of gave them in backwards order because Twitter's the biggest. Facebook is next, and then LinkedIn kind of follows that. There are others that I participate in and I'm a part of. I wish FriendFeed would come back. But the reality is that it's kind of fading in usage to some degree. But you've got to make sure that your content is properly integrated with those mediums. With Twitter, that you are properly tweeting links, that you're being selfless when you do so, that you're also willing to interact with others through Twitter, carry on a conversation, tweet links to other good resources. When it comes to Facebook, that you don't dominate Facebook with your stuff, but that you're willing again to be conversational. And with Facebook in particular, I've found that just don't be too noisy. I think that's even more important on Facebook than it is on Twitter. It's the reason why I don't do everything on Facebook that I do on Twitter. And LinkedIn, I do even less on LinkedIn, and that's purposeful, because the purpose of LinkedIn is not just a content sharing network. I think it has more to do with professional connections. Nonetheless, all three of those are big contenders in the cloud in which people live every day. There are others. There are bookmarking services that we can talk about. And I'm going to continue this discussion in another future post. But for now, just keep in mind that not only do you need to reach out and expand your network to decrease the distance between you and your target, but also you've got to find out how people are consuming information with mobile technologies and other developing technologies. Who knows what the tablet from Apple's going to bring about. You can get your content into Kindle format, ready for people to subscribe to blogs through Kindle. There are all kinds of ways and avenues to explore. Just tackle one thing. Read a tech blog, find out what's going on, what people are using, and find some way to infiltrate the content cloud that people are consuming every day. Be out there and take the content of your site and get it off your site and distribute it around. Now, I'll share a few more techniques in the next day or two. Thanks so much, and if you've got anything to add, please share them in the comments. Pass along your tips and tricks for others as well.